Alright guys, well I have here a valve body off of a 8L90 transmission. I think this is a 2016 Silverado. And always, have your like information. You can use this. You can use any type of manual that you have, right? But then do your homework a little bit. Like in here, always in my manuals, I have a lot of stuff, that are not just this. Uh, so we are going to vacuum test this variable force solenoid little dampeners on this 8L90, and according to this, I should have 18 inches 18 inches of vacuum uh, when I vacuum test this, and I do not have not even near close that in most of them except one, which is the line pressure port. I have perfect vacuum here. Now I took the dowel pins off the valve body on the opposite end. You see here it has two more dowel pins here, and I have it on this mat. And this is the way I've been trying to do it. Sonex wants you to do it with the spring loaded on the valves, right? Well, the solenoids are still on, and there is they're not clear if you put it on the mat or if you put it, vacuum testing or whatever, or should it be free floating like this, because we're actually checking the wear on on the on the accumulators, right? So like right now I'm checking the accumulators, but I am also checking the circuit that goes towards the solenoid and towards the front of the valve, or it depends on how it is energized. Some go to the front of the valve and some go to the rear of the valve. So if I go and get this little paper right here, trying to explain it. And if you see here, we have the signal accumulator, and this one here is the solenoid S1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Uh, and as you see here, when you vacuum test this, you're vacuum testing this side of the solenoid and the front side of the solenoid, but you're also vacuum testing the front side of the valve itself. So you're not only testing the leakage from here. Well, you're testing the leakage from here because this is where we're going to check it, right? But it is not kind of clear, the way they want you to do it. Uh, and they do leak a lot. To me, it's a lot of leak. I know that I know that the three for sure, visually, they're completely gone. And the rest of them, they still look all right, but they're not good. And here we have the line pressure control solenoid, uh, which is a little different. You have actuator feet limit valve fluid coming into here to the center, and you're checking the back side of this valve right here. So we're actually, when you're vacuum testing this right here, you're checking for the leakage around the accumulator piston, which this is what I'm worried about right now. Not really testing the whole circuit, but you can actually uh, test the whole circuit, or maybe if we just take this out, we can probably test the backside of this valve and the solenoid, by energizing it or de-energizing it, or however, whatever the case may be, right? So, I always try to have as much information, sometimes as possible. Back here, this is you can get it right off the book, uh, or you can print it from Sonex like I did here, and you can just keep on printing and printing and printing. And you know, in their advertisement, it says you need this accumulators if you're below that, right? So well, let's see what we got. I'm gonna keep this paper out, and we're gonna go through it. First thing is going to be to calibrate our test stand. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my pump on. So we got it at 5. Plug the hole on the side, the calibration port. I'm at 25, so we're good to go. I know it's not coming out on camera good, right? But hopefully we'll catch everything. And you can use either or side of it. So right now I'm going to just kind of like try to create a good seal on this thing. You know, all the way around. Like that. Just like that. Now we're going to check the line pressure control. Let's see, let's check this thing here. Why is this thing not all the way in here? What? There we go. Go ahead and check this. So we got perfect vacuum on this one. Now I'm gonna separate it from the pad, see if it makes a difference. And it sure does make a difference. We are at 21. Oops. Now we got, well, it just sucked in. So this is my question right here. Should we use the pad or should we not use the pad for vacuum testing this thing? Because I mean we need the air to pass through this thing, right? So I removed the pins for that. If I lay down back on the mat, I got perfect vacuum. So this is the line pressure control. Now we're gonna check. This is the 234 23468. We're gonna check this one right here, 23468, which is this one. Let's check that one out. But this one, I need to cover the hole next to it, right here. And we are at 18 and a half. Yeah, 18 and a half. So according to that, we're good. Now I'm gonna lift it off the mat, and we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead and move on to the TCC one, torque converter clutch. And this one we actually have a little bit. And I'm away from the pad. Now I'm gonna sit it on the pad, and it does not make a difference. Now, if I lift this up, well, I don't want to do that because I'm going to lose the accumulator springs. Oh, this thing got stuck. Now let's check. That was a torque converter clutch, and these units are known for shuttering through all the gears from second all the way to eighth. Now we're going to check the 23468, the 23468, which is the solenoid. Well, I got this thing. I think I got this thing mixed up. But yeah, 23468. We already checked that one, which was that one. Then we check the torque converter clutch, and now we're gonna check the 13567, which this is the solenoid to it, and this is the accumulator for it. Go ahead and check that. And this one, it has nothing. Even well, we got 6.5, 7.5, 7.5 inches of mercury. These three right here are the ones that are visually worn out. You're going to get surprised by the reading on this one because I was already doing this. Now let's go ahead and check this one here, which is the 1278 reverse. And as you can see, I mean, we're above 20. We're at 22 and a half. Let's go ahead and lift it up from the mat. And it falls below. Okay. We're back on the mat. and we're reading the same. Let's go ahead and check this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 reverse, which is this one, and the solenoid is actually solenoid D. Check this one. This one checks the same as the other one. Get it off the mat, and we get the same low reading, really low reading. Let's go ahead and check this last one, and then we're going to remove them from there, and I'm going to ream it and put some oversized one. Now this one here, it is worn out. You're going to visually see it, and if I lift it off the mat, it doesn't make any difference if it does or not. And it is creating a vacuum. Now I'm not sure if it's coming out through this hole, but I'm going to go ahead and it's just not going to work that well. So it's not coming out of there. But I do have a reading, which is 6, 7, 8, a little bit over 8 inches of mercury. All right, well, let me get this out. Let's go ahead and remove this one. This is the one that was reading really, really good, which is the pressure control solenoid. And if you see it all the way around, it's in good shape. I mean, there's not much wrong with this. This one here, we're going to put it back in its bore. Now let's go ahead and check this one here, which is this one is, if we look at the paperwork, 23468. And if we see it, it's really not, that bad. So I'm putting my hand up here so it will focus on this instead of focusing down there. You saw the reading, so I'm not going to repeat anything because, I mean, you can just rewind it. This one here is also physically looks good. But see, the pistons could be good, but the bore could be worn out. Let's remove the spring on this one. And this one here is the 1, 3, 6, 7, 8. And this was the torque converter clutch, remember? Okay, let's go ahead and get this focus. Here we go. Let's focus this thing. And it looks good, right? Now let's look at the other ones that... So I put them back in the same position even though I cleaned this valve body. I put them in order. Look at this one. You can see bare aluminum. It's gone. All the way around. All the way around. Look at that. I don't know. I cannot lock the focus on this. Let's go ahead and put it back in the bore. This one, not so bad, but you can see right there is worn out to one side. And you can see that from the center down is where the wear is at. Like if this, when it's pulsing, like if it's cocking sideways down in the bottom of the bore, can we visually see in there wear? Probably not. Probably not. And this one here, it's also worn, but not as bad as these two right here. And those two right there, it's 4, 6, 7, 8 reverse and 1, 2, 7, 8 reverse. And this one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and reverse. So there we. So you can see the bottom of it, the tip of it, worn out. So they are worn out. I'm going to put some oversized accumulator pistons in this thing. The variable force solenoid dampeners, BFS dampeners on this thing. And we're going to come back and retest. I know that it's probably not going to have a perfect seal because sometimes they don't, even after reaming and installing the oversized ones. But it should give us better readings. Now, like I said, even Sonics, it's not clear. You know, you see here the valve body, it looks to me like it is assembled, this valve body. The way it is separated from the, I mean, it looks like it's just sitting on the bench, the picture here, and it's not on the pad. And let me see. I think that's the only pictures that show that. PFS signal. Here's the part numbers for the replacement ones, and that's all I have. So I'm going to put this back in here. I mean, there's more information on their website. What I'm going to do though, so here I have the 8L90-PDP-OS. These are the oversized accumulator little pistons. They look kind of large, a little large. Go ahead and open this little bag right here. So I'm going to set it up. Then I'm going to come back and we're going to cut one together. So here they are. They are quite large compared to the original ones. And the springs also are different. And you can see the diameter on it. Of course, they're oversized. But the good thing is that we have a lot of meat around it. We have a lot of meat around it. Around the area. All the way around. So we're going to cut through that. And come back and vacuum check. Alrighty. Let's get it set up. Alright. So I got this already set up. And this jig right here, it fits really, really tight in it. I got my two bolts tightened up for the guide. And I put some WD-40 and then I put some of this cutting fluid in it. And it's still a little bit too tight, which is good, I guess. And it's actually the jig on the guide. So I already have my reamer lubed up. We're going to go ahead and cut this thing really slow until it bottoms out. And this thing, it doesn't fit. I'm going to just back up a little bit and have the cutting oil suck in and let the weight of the drill, I'm going really, really slow, let the weight of the drill cut, put some more cutting oil in it. So I'm just backing up to where I can see the grooves on the reamer. I'm going to go up and put some more oil in it. And go all the way until it stops. And there we go, it stopped right there. It actually stops kind of flush. There we go. Once you feel it go, let go freely, you're already all the way down. I have no clue how many RPMs this is, but it is really, really slow. And we're gonna back up really, really slow. And you can see all that metal in it. All right, let me go ahead and clean this up, and we're gonna go back to the to vacuum test this with the new. I'm gonna blow this off, and then I'm just gonna go one more time. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do this. All the metal is down here, or aluminum, whatever you, all the chips. There we go. Move this thing up again. Insert it. We're good. Nice and soft, really soft. All right, let me go ahead and clean this up. Go back to vacuum testing, and let's finish vacuum testing this thing. All right, well, let's go ahead and do this. You don't have to calibrate it every time, but if it starts raining or whatever and your weather changes, then you want to do that. You make sure that you got a good seal here. And here is our new accumulator. Let's go ahead and vacuum test it. So I've only done this one right here, and this is the one that concerns everybody, which is the torque converter clutch. And this is the one that you can actually see the wear in the bore. So these three are the worst ones. This is the worst out of all of them, but it's kind of a air checked all right, or vacuum checked all right. Let's go ahead and vacuum check this thing. Let's see if it changed anything. Yeah, I mean, you can see how it was before. Now we got perfect vacuum. We didn't have nothing. I think we were like on the 7 or the 8 or something like that. And I lifted up the valve body from the pad and nothing changed. But as you can see now that we have very, very good seal now. All right, so it's done. I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing all of them. And once I have all the accumulator, do I have all of them? I hope all of them came in here. So I got one, two, three, four, five, six, and 7. So I got one installed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I got all of them, and it's this one right here. This is the part number for it. Get it closer to the camera, and the toolkit. It's also from them, of course. I mean, if you're gonna use their stuff, this is the kit. That's the reamer guide, the jig and the guide and everything. And we're going to install this as well. 8L90 shuttle valve on it, which is kind of like a boost valve, kind of sort of. All right, well, let me finish this and then we'll come back and vacuum test the rest. All right, so I've got all of them done. I rinsed the pistons in clean solvent, blow them out real good, make sure that it doesn't have any residue from the uh, liquid that they put for it not to get rust on them. And let's go ahead and check them. Let's check them out and see what's up. All right, so this one is the first one that we did, which we did it here. Let's go ahead and install all of them. Install all of them, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna come back and take them all out. Oh, look at this one. That's a bent little spring on one. I'm gonna put this on the line pressure one. I have to press on that one a little bit. All right, so we already have that calibrated. We're gonna make sure that it's still on 25. All right, so I usually put a little bit of assembly lube around the circle just to make sure that we have a good seal around the circuit that we're going to test. Now let's go ahead and I need to compress the spring. Yep, we got perfect vacuum. Yep, perfect vacuum because this thing moved. I'll take the spring off. We're checking the piston anyway, so kind of a bummer that that spring well, the problem is that it's going to come against the thing and it's going to seal. 24 and a half. 24 and a half, that's perfect. Go ahead and return this spring to where I took it out of. And install the spring back in there. Now they come with springs, so I'm going to check and see what the old one looked like. Okay, we got good 25, 24 and a half, a little bit over 24 and a half. They're all reading the same. A little bit. Yeah, 24 and a half, a little bit over 24 and a half. Center this out. 24 and a half, a little under. No, exactly 24 and a half. Let's check this one. 24 and a half. Just remember that we have clearance between the piston and the aluminum body. So we're going to have some vacuum around it. 24 and a half. Oh yeah, you can see it. And the last one. Well, this one we had already tested. 24 and a half. So here we have a perfectly good tested valve body. Let me get this spring out. And I'm going to see if they're the same or not. They are the same length. Of course, this diameter on this one is going to be larger. Go ahead and vacuum test that one. Yeah, 24 and a half. 24 and a half. Let's see if it makes a difference if I lift up the valve body. Nope, no difference. You see, the needle did not move. Remember, I was having a perfect vacuum, not perfect vacuum, but I had good reading on one of them. And once I lifted up away from the mat, it will have like 8 or something like that. So here we have, yeah, 24 and a half. 24 and a half. Now keep in mind that it already it doesn't have the complete assembly lube around it. So I'm going to have a little bit of leakage there. It's no big deal. But actually I don't have to press on it anymore. It actually sucks itself in. Almost 24 and a half, a little bit below. What about the EPC? 24. Not even 24 and a half. So I guess this answers your question. Mat or no mat? I guess no mat. Leave your dowel pins on it. Leave your dowel pins on the opposite end and just test it on the bench. The dowel pins will keep it away from the bench, and you're testing. Well, you can see I have no valves in here. You're testing the pistons themselves. So there we go. That's the jig, and that's the part number for the pistons. And that's the tool number for the tool or the jig. This needs to go back in the box where it came out of. And when you buy this, I mean, there's no instructions in this box. But on this one, let's see what it says. What I do with the paperwork. Let's go ahead and shut this off. So I don't have to speak as loud. Let's go ahead and see what it reads. Pulls, dampener, piston repair. Required tool kit. That one over there. 7 pistons and 7 springs. Cool. 8L90 solenoid body. Has 7 pulse dampeners. Even a little wiggle has an effect on solenoid pressure to the controlling clutch regulator valves. Flare shifts, hard shifts, or erratic shifts are a result of poor clutch control. A worn dampener must be corrected to provide a smooth solenoid signal to the clutch regulator it serves. The smoother the solenoid signal, the more consistent and cleaner the shifts will be. Now, it says pulse dampener locations on the circle D, which we already know where they at. Closed end goes to the bottom, just like we installed it on here. All 8L90s install closed end of piston into the channel casting first, then spring. In the back, it tells you the jig that you need to install. So it has this long slot, so you can position it in different ways. So you can use two of the bolts and snug them together. Heads up, this is a carbide reamer for longer tool life. Always return it to its plastic sleeve to protect it. Carbide chips, it follow to roll around in a toolbox. So, got to put it back. It's still on my drill. Let's go ahead and get it out of there. So it's still on my drill, and it has like a little Play-Doh in there to cushion it. Put it back in the deal, and put it back in the box. Maybe later we get a box for it or whatever. I usually just keep them like that. So here there is one position. You can see it. Place jig with bushing over lineup pin and rotate jig until 2 bolt holes line up jig slots. Always use a thick aluminum washers on both sides to protect the valve body and jig. Tighten down jig with supplied bolts, thick washers, and wing nuts. Remove lineup pin and is ready to ream. Use lots of WD-40. I do have WD-40. But I have this BioTap. Oop, it's leaking. I have some of that BioTap. I don't know, for some reason those bottles leak. Or maybe that BioTap is a little bit corrosive to plastic, but it seems like for some reason they always leak like that. Let the reamer do the cutting. The bottoms out in the bore. Don't force the reamer. Bore finish and reamer life require slow inward movement and lots of WD-40. Keep an extra set of 8L90 dampeners on hand. You will need them for the next job. Of course we do. And I actually have another 8L90 I'm working on. So I got 2 that I'm working on, but I got to finish this one first. And then I'll get the other one on the bench. And I already have it tore down. Already got all the parts for it. And I also have the other extra kit for this. Let me get it right quick. Because here's the overhaul kit. And here we have it. And I have another one of these also as well. So these 2 items, they go on all of them. So here's the other box. And here's the other one for the other valve body. So yeah, All right, guys. Well, I hope you like this video. I mean, and this is very important. I know I did a video on the 6T70s, vacuum testing those. I still don't have the jig yet. I just been, uh, what do you call that? I haven't got it yet, in other words. All right, guys. Well, until the next one, you know what to do.